Welcome to RomWills Money Matters. Sell to other vendors at a vending show. Sell to other vendors. I'm gonna tell you what. Yeah, you want a few thousand people to come in and let me just go with what I always tell you. If you get 1,000 people coming to that show, you want to work to at least get 100 to stop by your table, your booth, whatever you have, and then you're doing good if you sell to 25 of them. But another customer that you should look at when you at any show is another vendor. Indeed, depending on what they have, one thing that's that happens a lot. I couldn't think of the right word. That happens a lot at these shows is you might have a product in trade. You might have a product in trade, and if you don't want to trade it, you can buy it. Like plenty of these vending shows, usually I'm getting food or something. If they selling food, somebody selling a plate, I'm usually coming there. But one of the things I've noticed doing shows over the decades, people would stop by my table. It's like, oh, let me get that book. Let me get that book. I'm selling books. People would buy the book. Like whenever you see that. And in fact, there was one vending show, and I'm not going to get too much into it. I'll just say it had great intentions. It wasn't bad. It had great intentions. Vendors were selling to each other. Vendors were still selling to each other. See, one of the things is when you have a product, you want to still, no matter how many people are there, you got the vendors. That's a potential customer. Indeed, they might have some stuff that you need. Indeed, like even if you're not selling, you might be like, well, okay, you want to trade or something. And I've done that at plenty of shows. I've done that at plenty of shows. In fact, I have some books upstairs that I've traded with some authors. I got some on my bookshelf. In fact, for one beautiful young lady, I actually did a review of her book. I actually read it and did it. And you know what? We traded, but she actually came and she was going to buy the book at first. I said, well, hold up. Why don't we trade? Right? And, don't worry about it. If yours is a few dollars more, theirs is a few dollars more. You still trading. You still getting something. Like, don't worry about that stuff. But remember, you got those customers there. You got those customers there. And when you set up, that's one of the reasons you want to have a great attitude. When you set up, that's the reason why you want to talk to different vendors there. You want to connect with them because they're potential customers. Because the vending show, yeah, you hope for a crowded day, but I'm just going to be real with you. It's not always that case. But you still have those other vendors. If you have a nice book or something like that, they might want it. Like I've lost track of how many other vendors I've sold copies of my books to. I've lost track. I can't even say, well, it's one or two here or there. In fact, every vending show that I've done, I've probably sold at least one copy of my book to a vendor. In fact, you'll have some vendors. Indeed, they'll have a little bit extra money. They'll walk around, like around the end of the show, they will walk around and get stuff. That's why I say don't leave right away. Always be among the last people to leave. In fact, I had a commenter who said he started doing that. Get there early, set up, but also be among the last to leave. Indeed, there's a farmer's market near me, and usually drive past there once they like breaking down. Usually on Saturdays. That's usually, it's very rare. I drive past there when they're there, but I noticed there's one vendor in particular, always still there. The parking lot will be empty. That dude is just now starting to break down. That dude, I was like, that's smart. And I'm actually curious. I think they got some type of food, so I might stop through and check them out. But you want to do that. You never know. See, the vendors, like I say, they're potential customers. And you might have a product that they need. And also, too, you might want to get something from some of these vendors. Like I said, you can trade something, or they might have something that you like. Like, trust me, I've gotten a ton of like shea butters from some other vendors, or shirts. I remember there was one vendor. Well, she didn't like what I was wearing. She actually gave me some shirt. She gave me a shirt. She said, "Come on to my table. Let me dress you up. I don't like this shirt you're wearing. What's your size?" Hey, but you know what? That's one of the things. That's why when you at a table, when you at a booth, you don't want to be just sitting there like and not interacting, because I've talked before of how you want to connect with other vendors, if for nothing else, to watch your table, to make connections to other shows. But sometimes you can get a sale there. It might be worth it. Or trade something that's of equal value. So you don't have to spend money. They might have something you want. You got something that they want. So that's one thing that you want to think about. Now, here's one thing. When you go in, don't go into the vending show thinking, "Oh, I'm going to sell to other vendors." You still want to set up for regular people, because quite frankly, they still might not buy what you have. They might not get the service you have, or they might not get the product. So you don't want to go in thinking that. But in the back of your mind, you want to think, okay, this might be a possibility. This might be a possibility. Because, and that's one thing in general you always want to think about. When you do any show, you want to think you're going to make money, no matter what. No matter what. Make money, connection, a few sex partners, but yeah, that's something for my other show. Yeah. Anyway, you want to still, you want to have that in the back of your mind, that every single person in there, including the vendor, is a potential customer. Everybody who walks through the door, every other vendor. But like I said, with the vendors, don't go in there thinking, "Oh, I'm going to sell to the vendors." You want to set up and be friendly, and what happens, happens. But trust me, that happens a lot. They might get some of your products. You might get some of theirs. You might trade something. They happen to like what you have. Indeed, I remember there was one vending show. There was somebody connected with the organizer of the show. They were buying something from every single person. They were buying something from every single person. It was just like, oh, okay. They wanted to make sure every single person got a sale. So you want to really think about that. Other vendors are potential customers. All right? Other vendors. All right? So anyway, that's all I have for today. Hey, y'all have a good weekend, and I'll catch up with y'all next week. And you know the deal. Let's go make that money.